When YCT was started, people told Rabbi Weiss that he was crazy, that the institution would never succeed. But now, almost everywhere you go, there's a YCT rabbi playing an important role.
We have 87 musmachim around the world.
I really feel that this is the future of Orthodoxy.
Coming into YCT, which infused a level of Torah learning with a richness of conversation around the issues that Jews were grappling with, around the issues that society was grappling with, helped form me as not only a rabbi and as a member of the Jewish community, but as a human being.
Something that's so important about our yeshiva is that we are a family. We are a center for modern orthodoxy. We are producing the rabbis of the future, but we are in our essence a family. And that's what Sharon and Steve bring to it, because they are an incredible family and they bring that attitude and that conception to our yeshiva, to the leadership of our yeshiva.
Getting involved as chair of YCT was actually a fairly easy decision. First, I didn't have much choice. When Rabbi Weiss comes to you and asks you to do something, it's very, very hard to say no.
When he was approached to be chair, both of my parents knew that it was going to be a lot of work.
Steve and Sharon are both people of tremendous integrity, and first and foremost, that's why they are great role models and leaders of our community.
He was going to come up to New York for the board meetings. He was going to come up for solicitations. He was going to, come up to meet the students. He was going to come up when Rabbi Weiss got arrested or, whatever it was.
I had seen over the years how much effect an individual rabbi could have. First Rabbi Weiss, then Rabbi Shmuel Herzfeld in Washington, D.C. How a single rabbi could transform a community.
Steve has a real vision for this yeshiva, which is that we are producing Orthodox rabbis for the entire Jewish world.
We have in our community in Maryland, Beth Shalom, a YCT grad, Rabbi Nissan Antin and his wife Sarah, and they're so amazing. And my dad also was involved in the search process for finding him and bringing him into Beth Shalom.
I think that we, on a personal level, our children, our extended family, and certainly our friends have just been so blessed to have Rabbi Antin as a part of our community.
The idea of being involved with an institution that was going to turn out every year 5, 6, 7, 10, 12, 15 rabbis, it would go all across the country and even outside the country and have the same sort of effect in their communities was a bit of a no-brainer.
Steve is so passionate. He's brilliant. He's tireless. He is the quintessential leader.
He's very, very proud of the yeshiva, and it's wonderful to have a chairman of the board who, is just talking about the yeshiva and promoting the yeshiva. He's really, really involved.
From time to time, working with Rabbi Weiss, we had certain legal questions which came up, and Rabbi Weiss said, the greatest lawyer he's ever met in his life is Steve Lieberman. And so I said, well, that's a pretty good endorsement because Rabbi Weiss must meet lawyers every single day.
I got a call from Rabbi Weiss on the very first day that I was a practicing lawyer. I don't know how he found me. I don't know how he found me on the first day. I know he called Sharon and she had him call me. It was a case about the putting a Chanukiah up at the memorial right near the Hebrew Institute.
Steve Lieberman is a phenomenal person, and he's done so much for YCT. I don't think there is anybody who doesn't appreciate him and admire him.
Something I've always really admired about Steve is how he makes time to be involved in so many different things. And we all know how busy Steve is. We all know how much he's doing for so many different causes. And yet, every time I've had a question or needed something, it seems like he always is there with the email, with the phone call, with the meeting in person.
Starting when we were in day school at the Charles E. Smith Jewish Day School, both of my parents were always incredibly involved, whether that was on the board or in the classroom or coming to events.
On a very personal level, I've seen the way Sharon and Stephen care for their parents and love their children.
My dad has videotaped my grandparents, and he loves taking videos of everything. He thinks he's like a professional photographer. He squats on a knee, he'll do these weird different angles, different lighting. My mom visits her father a lot. He lives in an assisted living center, and she'll go to the workouts with him.
We've learned so much from our children, and hopefully they've learned a little from us. We try to teach them that if you don't make enemies, it means you haven't done anything important.
So I'd say that it really goes back to my grandfather, to my father's father, Herbert Lieberman, who we've actually named an award after at Chovevei.
After Steve's father passed away, it was a very difficult time for Steve and all of us. And his father was very involved in service work for the Riverdale community. And I think in talking with our kids one evening, we thought, wouldn't it be nice if we could do something in Steve's father's memory that would be a tribute to things that he found very important.
It's been amazingly gratifying for us, the Herbert Lieberman Community Service Award. And that award has actually gone to help establish a number of important organizations. And we're very, very proud of the small role that we played in organizations like Uri L'Tzedek, which I'm proud to say was an organization to which we gave the first grant through the Herbert Lieberman Scholarship Award. So it's been amazingly meaningful for us that we've been able to do that through the yeshiva.
Endowing the Rosh HaYeshiva chair at Yeshiva Chovevei Torah is exquisitely appropriate for Tova Bulow and for Norman Olav HaShalom.
The idea of funding a chair at YCT really came from Steve Lieberman.
For many years I sat on the YCT board with both Norman and Tova. They would come and they would sit next to each other and they would hold hands. Just two amazingly beautiful people.
Well, I first met the Bulows at a board meeting, and I was impressed that these are thoughtful people. These are people with tremendous amount of depth.
They wouldn't just focus on the issue in front of them, they would focus on what's going to happen 5 years, 10 years from now. Where other people saw a difficulty, Norman saw an opportunity, and his wisdom shone through.
You know, sometimes you say when someone is very young, they have an old soul. The Bulows have always had a very young and youthful soul, and they're really able to understand the pressing issues that today's generation faces.
We both believe very strongly in the inclusivity of YCT. And the fact that it's orthodoxy in our time.
Tova believes in high-level Torah, which Yeshiva Chovevei Torah certainly represents and offers to its students. And she particularly reveres Rabbi Linzer.
What a shidduch. Dov Linzer, the best of the best, with Norman, Alav HaShalom, and Tova. Our families, we've been involved in good moments of celebration, and it's sad moments, really sad moments, and yet we've hugged each other and we've been able to get through those moments, and may they be for as many celebrations as possible. I love them deeply.
I was talking to my dad, and he was saying how he really looks forward to, 5-10 years down the road when the best Jewish day schools and college communities in the country have YCT rabbis, leading them. And that's, I think, part of what motivates his work there.
I think when you look at the types of students that Rabbi Weiss and now Rabbi Lopatin attract to the yeshiva, many of them are people for whom the choice wasn't between YCT and some other rabbinical school. It was between YCT and some other profession entirely. If there hadn't been YCT, they wouldn't be rabbis.
Every year it's exciting to see how Chovevei has grown and how it's this great institution now and what an impact and reputation it has. I wonder how many lives it's impacted and how it's changed the landscape of not only American Jewry but world Jewry.
This is an institution that inspires people. It inspires them to do great work, and to go out and tackle the hard issues, and not to be afraid, never to be afraid, but to just keep pushing and pushing for what's right, and all the time to do it within halacha and to do it in a warm and humble way.